This video is predominantly going over teaching Vinny the chase me game. The chase me game is a technique I use to teach a dog to pay attention to where I am, follow me, and later learning to heel. And this can be deployed at so many times. If there's a distraction over there, if there's a person over there, if there's a dog over there, I can use the chase me game to be more fun and more attractive to Vinny, so he chooses to come to play with me instead of going to the other dog or person or car, whatever it is that has alerted him. So the premise of this game is to invite Vinny to follow us. Vinny's so highly strung, I'm using very little energy and very little motivation to get him to pay attention to me or chase me. If I was to use too much energy right now, either talking, clapping, hyping him up, he would lose his head and he'd become unresponsive to treats and just start bouncing around and bouncing up at me. So the balance here is using enough energy to match the dog's energy to encourage them to play the game, while not using too much energy to make them lose their head and lose concentration. So it's always a fine balance, and you have to figure out what level your dog is at and when you've done too much. Initially, we're not looking for perfection. Yes, Vinny is jumping up at me. Yes, he's doing things I'd like to discourage in the long run. But right now, the main focus is getting him to zone in on me and enjoy interacting with me. This way, when there is something going on and I do need to hold his focus, he knows what to expect. And that's why it's so important to do repetitions of this in a distraction-free environment. So right now we're in the room. He's been in here since he's been in foster, and he's very comfortable in here and he's very responsive in here. Every step I take him towards the outside world, garden, field, cafe, is an extra level of difficulty for Vinny to pay attention. So if you think about it in the sense, if he's responsive 50% at home, he'll be 25% out in the garden, and then he'll be 5% in the real world. So before we venture forward and take him out, we need to practice it in a controlled environment first. So we're moving on to doing some puppy push-ups here. Puppy push-ups are amazing. The dog enjoys them. I enjoy them. It's just a different exercise, which is transitioning between a sit and a down. It's a really good exercise. It's simple and it's fun for everybody involved. So I want to emphasize how many repetitions I did in this room before we started to take it outside. Off camera, I've introduced him to his harness. He's absolutely comfortable with me putting it on, taking it off. There's so much to do and so much to train with a new dog that it's just I didn't film everything, so I didn't feel the harness. But as you can see, he's completely calm and chilled with me putting it on. We don't want any shotgun effect in terms of like the harness being put on means I'm getting hyper and ready to go. So we want him in the right frame of mind, and if he's already at 11 before we're out that door, we've already lost the battle. We'll be fighting him for the whole walk if he goes outside with that type of energy. So when we've gone back outside, we're just calling him to me, and then we're going straight to doing backwards chase me. So this is easier initially for the dog, as he can see you. He knows you're interacting with him. You're inviting him over. I'm lowering my hand with the treat so he sees it's within range. So it's a very clear message to the dog that I'm paying attention to him. And then in turn, he will then pay attention to me. So we did multiple repetitions of going back to the basics of the chase me game until we would then move on into trying to do the heel. Now, Vinny absolutely excels at this. It's just when he's distracted, when he loses his head, that we then lose control or the responsiveness of Vinny. So in this environment, this is a field, there's stuff going on, but there's not a lot of stuff going on. So it's relatively easy difficulty level for him to. Expecting him to do this in front of a cafe at this point is just ridiculous. But the more repetitions we do in the house, in the garden, in the field, and the more he does it right, the higher percentage chance that he becomes responsive in those high distraction environments. But as you can see, we get a beautiful, bouncy, happy heel. And this is what we're working towards, is a comfortable heel. Nobody enjoys being pulled by their dog. It's not a fun experience. So teaching a dog heel is, yeah, it's an amazing feeling to have a dog at your heel, staring up at you, waiting for the next command. It's well worth putting the effort in to teach your dog to heel. So yeah, this is the end result. This is a week's work. I've been doing all of this at the same time, but separately as well. So while working on the harness, we've not been doing chase me. It's all about just making 5-10 minutes just to do tiny little training sessions where you're going to go in. The focus today, or focus this session, is the harness. So I'm going to put the harness on, I'm going to take the harness off, and we just go through that. And then next time you go in, okay, we're going to do some chase me game, we're going to try heel, we're going to do all these little things. So the next time you put the kettle on, use those 2 minutes as a little mini training session. You'll be amazed by the results.